All right. Okay, I just hit record. Okay, so for those that wind up joining in, go ahead and enter your name and state. If you're a rookie and you're interested, add that as well. We'll try to find you a home. Okay, what our goal is provide a forum. We want to engage rookies and newer officials. We want to try to facilitate recruiting and start training now. This is the 5th session that we're doing. And just as a reminder, we're going to start having spring scrimmages in May. That's here in Alabama. Understand the same things happening in other states. So the main message I want to get across to everybody, especially if you're watching this recording, is that the kids and the teams are preparing. So what are you doing to make yourself better, get yourself ready for the season? So we have about 30 minutes tonight. The focus is Federation rules. We're going to look at what happens with pylons, kind of plays that can happen there. And then if we have some time at the end, we'll talk about a holder exception that's in the rules as well. So I want to start off with Rule 2. All veteran officials or rookie officials, this is your best friend. So a shout out to Rule 2. So what we're going to get into this evening, I just want to hit and highlight Rule 2-29 that talks about out of bounds. So Article 1 talks about any player or person is out of bounds when any part of that person is touching anything other than another player or game official that's on or outside the sideline or the end line. Article 2 talks about a ball that's in player possession is out of bounds when that runner or the ball touches anything, again, other than another player or game official that is on or outside the sideline or end line. And Article 3 talks about a loose ball being out of bounds when it touches anything, including another player or game official that's out of bounds. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we get into what happens on the pylon. One other rule I just want to identify is 1-2-3J that talks about the goal line itself. That goal line is entirely in the end zone, so that edge toward the field of play and its vertical plane is the actual goal line. So you're here on TV, and you hear coaches talk about it, you hear officials talk about breaking the plane. That's what we're talking about, and we'll show what that looks like here in a little bit. Let me stop share for a moment, and I'm going to shift over to the Get It Right program. Okay. So this is up on the screen now, right?
Yeah.
See that, Ed? Okay. Okay, so we talk about positioning, and it's in Rule 1-2-4. It just kind of gives you the size. It can be orange, red, or yellow. The thing needs to be flexible enough that it's right there where anybody can run into it. So we want to make sure that it's going to be safe. It's right on that intersection of the goal line and the sideline. We'll talk about the ones on the end line here in a moment. So when properly placed, that pylon is on the goal line, and it's also on the sideline right there at that intersection. That includes goal line extended, and we're going to talk about that as well. But let me drift over here to the end line. The Federation allows this pylon here to be on the end line. That's okay, but they also say, or put it 3 feet back. And we really, when we get to the field, need to ensure that that's off of the end line, because again, getting back to the whole out of bounds rule, if you touch anything that's out of bounds, like that end line, you're out of bounds. So now you have a situation where it's at the end of the game, A team is trying to score the winning touchdown. You got a receiver running along the back edge of the end zone there, and then his knee hits that pylon that's sitting on that end line. Then he catches what he thinks is the winning touchdown. Well, we got a flag for illegal participation because when he hits that pylon, he's officially out of bounds. So that catch is no longer any good. So we don't need that kind of drama. To get that, in some schools here in Alabama, they will put that pylon on the end line, back it up, just get it off there. Back judges, we're going to wind up working back there. We don't need to be distracted about whether we're going to trip over that or not. We don't want to become a YouTube video because we tripped over a gosh dang pylon. Move it back. Just get it out of the way. It's going to be a whole lot simpler. Just let it be like that. So now let's get to that pylon that's right there on the goal line. Okay, so let's take a look step by step what happens here. So we have a player that dives for the end zone. He doesn't quite cross it, but the first thing that contacts anything is his helmet contacting that pylon. So as soon as that happens, he's going to be considered out of bounds. And we're going to wind up marking that ball just short of the goal line right there. Again, that's the helmet hitting the pylon or anything other than the ball hitting that pylon. Let's look at it from a perspective that a short wing or a deep wing official might have. He's diving in like that. Player hits it. He's out of bounds. He still has possession. We're going to mark the ball short of the goal line right there. Now let's look at the ball hitting the pylon. So now he reaches forward. He's diving for it. Now he's breaking that plane. Again, the front face of that pylon is also that plane of the goal line. So as soon as that ball hits the face of that pylon there, we have ourselves a touchdown. We'll go through playthrough, slide over here, see what that looks like. So when they start reaching out like that, you need to start thinking about what's he fixing to do with that ball there. If he hits that pylon with the ball, we have ourselves a touchdown. By comparison, though, we'll back this up a little bit, and you're going to see on the right, he loses the ball. We'll go through playthrough on this one. So on the right, he dives, but he loses control of the ball. The ball hits the pylon. So now that's considered, out of bounds. Not only out of bounds, it also broke the plane of the goal line. So that means we have a touchback. So as much as he was trying to be a hero and trying to dive for a touchdown like that, he just handed the ball over to the other team. And from here, I'm going to back up and go to goal line extended. Okay, we're getting back to this whole plane idea again. So the plane extends out past the sideline. It theoretically goes forever, but it goes beyond the sideline. And what we have here is the player diving. He hasn't touched the pylon or anything yet. He's reached the ball out over the sideline. What's key about it is now the ball has broken that plane, but the critical piece is he still has a part of his body touching the field of play. I've actually had this in a playoff game. So when you see him diving like that, you need to have one corner of your eye looking to see what's happening with that ball, and the other corner of your eye looking to see if he's got part of his foot, part of his body touching in the field of play. This is an opportunity to get some help from one of the short wing official, or if this is a short wing official watching this, that deep wing that's back on the corner of the end zone might be able to help, or that back judge who's back on the end line, he might be able to help as well. If he doesn't have anything that he's covering there in the middle, he might be able to see if that foot dragged the ground. If you have a natural turf field, maybe you're lucky enough to see a skid mark in there. If it's a turf field, maybe you see some of that those black pellets flying up in the air. So that's going to be critical as you decide whether that's a touchdown or not, to be able to explain to the other coach what really happened there. By comparison, we'll step through this as well. And on the right, he's really kind of doing a Superman kind of thing, where he's just playing diving. The ball's breaking the plane of the goal line extended, but he doesn't have any parts of his body touching the field of play. He's now hitting the pylon. So really, he's just out of bounds. So we'll wind up marking that ball short of the goal line. We'll go through playthrough on this. We'll watch it on the left side. That's what it looks like there. Again, get some help to see if he was dragging his foot or any part of his body. On the right side, he's doing the full out Superman move there. So we'll just call that short of the goal line on the right side, touchdown on the left side. Any questions on any of those? Yeah, I'm going to move back to our PowerPoint here. I lost my share button. Bear with me here. There we go. Okay. All right, what we'll do now is we got a little bit of extra time here. We're going to go into the holder exception. And we'll talk about the ball becoming dead. And Rule 4-2-2A is one segment of the ball becoming dead. And we all pretty much understand that ball becomes dead and the down is ended when the runner goes out of bounds, is held for his forward progress to stop, or he allows any part of his person other than his hand or foot to touch the ground. But there is an exception to address the place kick holders. So we'll go into what that looks like. Okay. So again, this is the exception, the 4-2-2A. And We're going into scrimmage kick formation. Everything looks good there. So now we have the holder with his knee on the ground. The snap is high, so he raises up to catch that snap. But then he goes straight back down again, so the ball remains live. We don't have a problem there. And then as the kicker is coming up, he raises up off the ground and pitches the ball to the kicker, who now becomes a runner. The ball remains live, and then we'll see what happens when that runner goes on in. So it's important there that he does raise up again off the ground before he passes that ball off to the kicker. Now on the right side, we're going to see something a little bit different. He's down, got his knee on the ground. The ball is high. He raises his knee up off the ground. No problem. He comes back down. Ball is still alive. So the left side and right side, we have the same thing going on. But on the right side, he doesn't come back up. He leaves his knee on the ground, and then he goes to pitch that ball to his teammate. At that point, we're going to call that dead because he's got the ball. He's got his knee on the ground. He can't do anything else other than act as a holder. On the left side, he was smart to raise up off the ground and pitch that ball to keep the ball alive. On the right side, the ball's dead. And then we have one more scenario that could come into play here. This time what happens, he raises up again, so we got no problem there, but then he muffs it. And once he muffs it, then he has to stay up off the ground. So if he returns his knee to the ground and he possessions that ball's going to be dead right away. So even though they kicked it, we should have whistles blowing all over the place. Watch a playthrough on this. So again, he's going to come up, he's going to muff it, he's going to go back down, and as soon as he possesses it with his knees on the ground or any other part than his hands or feet, then that ball's going to be dead. Any questions or comments on that one?
I do, Bob.
Yes, sir.
If we are delayed in making that ruling of a dead ball, we're not penalizing K for kicking the ball, right?
No. Because all that's probably happening so quickly that, yeah, he's going to go ahead and kick that ball, but this is going to be typically a white hat call for the way that our mechanics are lined up.
Right.
So he's going to be blowing the whistle, and it'd be no different than a kicker kicking a try or a field goal or something like that, and the opposite team is calling a timeout.
Or we have a false start or something like that. Yeah.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good. I know that question will come up. That's a test question. You know, like, okay, we're making the right ruling here, but the right ruling is dead ball, nothing else happening. It's not an act by the K to kick a live ball, which would be illegal kicking or whatever. Yeah, good. So we're going to just shut that down and play it from what it is.
Exactly.
Dead ball, try over or field goal over. Good.
Yep. Okay, well, we got somebody else that joined us here. Russell is your name? Is it Russell Sisk, maybe? Well, not hearing anything. Okay. Well, Russell, it's but we're about to shut down here. glad you were able to join us. You missed the better part of it, but we did record this. You can go on YouTube and find it at the Get It Right Enterprises site. We have this one as well as the previous 4 that we did. Next session will be the 9th of May, 6 p.m. Central Time again. I'm going to talk about inadvertent whistles and anything else that might come to my mind between now and then. So we'll have that up on Facebook to remind people about what's going on. So with that, before we tune out here, any other comments, any closing remarks from anyone?
Oh, good job.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and stop the recording here. And